Sarve Janaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Now, everywhere, right from Einstein, they wanted to apply mathematics in physics. Now, I want to apply mathematics in karmayoga of Hinduism. The concept of karmayoga, how it can be beautifully explained. That is, especially with reference to Punarjanmam and Punarmaranam, the birth and death cycle, how these are all truths. Because fundamentally the physics equation is mathematics cannot be created or destroyed. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. These are all physics. And in Bible they say, as thou sow, thou shall reap. So there is nothing called a heaven and a hell concept. Because the question comes, when heaven is created, who created the hell? And God has to be impartial. He cannot create something suffering for humanity. He has to be of total love only. So the concept of Paramatma and the concept of the Karma Yoga is what I am going to explain through mathematics. A very good tool in mathematics called multiple linear regression analysis in analytical geometry. Now basically just small exposition of analytical geometry, the Cartesian plane through a graph. All of us know about the graph sheets. We have graph sheets right from the 3rd, 4th standard schools, plotting the x and y coordinates and all. So you have this graph sheet here. Generally we plot the data for predictions, what has happened and what's going to happen. The famous equation is y is a plus bx. This is the equation of a straight line, where y is the value you want to find, a is a constant, it is a constant always, b is the slope of the line, and x is one variable. I am just explaining the straight line equation, which most of you will be knowing, but benefit to those who may not be exposed to mathematics. So these are the coordinates, Cartesian plane, and you will have always the plus data here, the minus here, the plus minus here, and the minus plus here. This is 0, 0. So for example, take a business, your business net profit, what you want to have. Say in 2001, this is 2024, say you start from 2001 to all these plots here, years 1, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, like that you come to 2025, for example. You want to find out what is going to be the net profit for this year, this point. So you start plotting your data from 2001, say it was 5,000 rupees, and then it was 10,000, 2002, then it is 2003, it was 15,000. You have small minor points here in graph sheet, but I am just giving you an overall exposition of the data. And 2005, say 20,000. 2006, what happens? There was a loss or there was a low profit, it was only 6,000. 2007, 6,500, like that. You will be plotting your data, and some year it will be 40,000, and some years and it will be say only 2,000. So you plot your data like this. Like this, like this, like this, like this. The data comes here, like this, like this, like this, and all. So you try to fix a straight line through the data, which will have the minimum variation between the data. That's called the slope of the line. That's called the concept B here, the fluctuation of the line. So the equation of the straight line, if you put a straight line, it is easy for you to predict what's going to happen based on the past data on 2025, 2026, 2027. What's going to happen, what's going to be a net profit or whatever it is. This is the equation of a straight line, and you try to find the value y, what's going to be the profit in 2025, 2026. For this you have this y, this will always be a constant, the value you will get after plotting these data, and this is x, this is only one variable, which is here I am taking as the net profit. What is multiple linear regression? Many variables. So a multiple linear regression analysis would be something like this. Y is a plus Okay, bx, one variable, plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2. Like that it will go on. You can take as much as variables as you want. It will go on. Wherein, for example, x or x1 you take, a 1 unit change in them will affect the value of y. So, what is multiple variables? In a business, if you take, I will take not only the net profit, the sales of my company, the interest, bank interest rate, that will be another, say sales will be x1, bank interest rate will be x2, the general GDP of the company x3, of the country, the GDP of the country can influence, the purchasing power, the employment, all these will be different variables which will affect the net profit of my firm. So I am going to take this multiple linear regression model to find out what can be the actual net profit given these various factors. Various factors are there. The interest rate, the bank interest rate, if it is very high, your net profit will be down. If the GDP is low, that means general business condition is low, your net profit could be down. If it is high, it will be high. If the unemployment rate is high, your net profit could be down. There are various factors in business. If the oil prices, general oil price shoots up beyond very high, your net profit can be down because the costs of production or costs are increasing. If there is no rainfall, no agriculture, the purchasing power goes down, your net profit would be down. So, likewise, that is multiple linear regression. We have lots of models to be more precise on the value of y. That is what could be the value of my net profit of my firm in projections in the year 2025, 2026, 2027, given the historical past data. That's why we fit in a straight line. For multiple linear regression analysis also, lot of lines will be there for each variable and you try to find out the value of y. Now, how does this affect our model, that is the mathematical model in karma yoga, in spirituality? Now let me explain. Just like you have variables for business, if you construct this data, y here, y is a plus b, one slope. What is this x? There are different karmas we have, different actions we have. Each is one variable. For example, your honesty is one. What will be b1, x1? Your charity is one variable that will affect the y. Now what is y? I will come. Then what is b2, x2? Service to others will have a value. What is b3? x3 could be what? Your respect to your parents. What could be b4? The act of charity to others. What could be b5? You are not telling lies, not harming others, not killing others, no jihad. Could be 5, which will influence, etc. Likewise, lot of good things and bad things we can fit in as a variable. Your act of honesty, telling the truth, servicing others, helping others. I mean, serving others means helping others. Your devotion to God, your prayers, everything. Your cleanliness. Cleanliness also forms a part of it. Your right actions, your right karma. What is this y? Here, the y will always be a state of a 0. The aim is to have a 0. Because 0 is a state which is unborn, uncreated and unmanifested. If there is no such state of unborn, uncreated and unmanifested, there is no escape for the born, the created and the manifested. It is a 0 state where is total bliss. That is what Paramatma is. He cannot be partial. He has to be impartial. He cannot reward you. He cannot punish you. He cannot give you a character. Because beautifully, if you see Gado Upanishad, Yamardharma Raja advocates, Mandukya Upanishad, the Rishi Mandukya, Mandukya's Karika, Gaudapada wrote Karika, about 215 Karikas. In section 3 and verse number 19, Gaudapada says, Mayaya vidyate hi anyatha ajam kadanchana tatvat vidyamane hi martyatam amrutam vrajet. God cannot be an immortal, cannot be partial. An immortal cannot be mortal. The characters of mortal human beings like us, we are jealousy, angry, smiling, laughing, happiness and all. But an immortal cannot be a mortal, cannot create a mortal. Only by Maya you see the mortality. Maya vidyatehi. By Maya only the differences is created. Divisions, vidyate, binnam, vidyatehi. Anyata, otherwise, ajam kadanchana, this ajam, this unborn, cannot be otherwise. Tattvata vidyamanehi, if that be so, of the difference, of the divisions, martyatam, then the amrutam, the immortality, martyatam, it goes, vraje, goes to the mortality. The immortal becomes mortal. Even for a minute, minuscule, the immortality cannot have in itself the mortality. Because then it becomes, the immortal becomes mortal. Not even an atom it can have of mortality, either in size, either by actions, or either mentality or physical size. It cannot be. It's spreading everywhere of Ananda bliss. Anandam Brahme Divyajanat, like that. Anandadhyai Vakal Vimani Bhutani Jayante. So God has to be impartial. He cannot create you, and so only by Maya. So that's why this Maya, the state, where all physicists in their own terms will say everything came out of nothing. Through Maya only. The world is unreal. The physics Nobel Prize winners, 3 Nobel Prize winners, when they said, so everything could be Maya. That's one of the very basic concept of Hinduism, which Buddha followed. Therefore, this state has to be zero. Then only you will not be born again. You go and merge with the divine. The Jwala, as Tirumular says, you go and merge there. As beautifully Manikya Vachakar puts in, Pullai, Pudai, Puruvai, Maramagi, Pal Virgangalagi, Paravayai, Pambai, Kallai, Manidarai, Peyai, Ganangalai, Pal Virgangalai, Munivarai, Devarai, Sella, Ittavara, Sangamatul. Beautiful. Everything you change from grass to that, to worms, to everything, then finally to Devas, Deva, what the Westerners call as gods, Deva, then Sella, Ittavara, Sangamatul. That's all. The permanent fixed, the Atma goes and merges itself. That's it. It's finality to the Jwala. That's the finality. Then no rebirth. That is what is why I am going to say is going to be zero. Now, when you are born, when you put this equation, why this equation, if you put this multiple, this when you are born means it will always be, say, minus 50 or minus 100. I am just giving you an example. Don't give too much prominence to this, but this means minus 100, for example. So, and here, if you do a good karma, charity to others, you can get 10 or 20. If you take care of your elderly parents, it may be plus 20. If you do not speak lies, it could be plus 30. Here B2. If you always do not steal, it could be plus 10. Likewise, so when you add these plus, all these plus, and if it comes to plus 100, this will cancel, and therefore you go into the state of the zero state, Ananda, where there is no Punarjanmam and Punarmaranam. That's it. Now, who is born as minus 100? Say, for example, a terrorist can be born minus 100 with a lot of sorrows, or a blind man with poverty because of his previous karma. He carries on this A, the next karma, the cycle. He carries on this A and gets minus 100. Or if suppose a prince born in a very rich family, he may be having only -10 because his poor, in previous karma he had built up certain positive karmas like doing charity or not telling lies or not thieving, not stealing and all, not killing others, no jihad. So he carries this minus only 10, he enjoys, and then even if he goes to does all this plus this thing and carries a plus next year, next life, if he gets plus, the A is he gets plus 50, automatically he knows that he has done, like Buddha knows that he carries, he wants to go into the zero unborn state. He gets into the sannyasa and just be in the habit of teaching others. That's all. That is enough. So this plus gets neutralized and it comes into this Y. Or if he is born with -10, for example, he does some good karyas little by little in his princely life, cancel this -10, gets a 0 value and merges. This is what Y is 0. So the basic important question is, in multiple linear regression model, why I took this model is, it is the projection, it is the prediction of what is going to happen. Your karma should be, Y should be a state of unborn. Otherwise you are going to have punarjanma, because matter cannot be created or destroyed. There is nothing called hell or heaven. The hell and heaven is in your future lives. You have to cancel, if you have done in your previous life full of sins, I would say, put it in that way, full of sins. You are born the next to repay that in -100. The egg becomes -100. And then you have to build up in that life thinking, do good things, don't steal, do charity, be of help to others, be a good man. Like this, you have all these variables, you get this plus point so that the -100 which you are born gets neutralized, or it is -10 so that the next birth you take in a better way. And then you do this, even in a little bit, you get this cancel and get the answer Y equals 0 to go into the state of unborn. Because it is very clear. See, our Vedas, especially if you take Bhagavad Gita 2.22, chapter 2 and verse 22. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naraha aparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Vasamsi, like kapada. Jirnani, digested or born out, digested, gone. Vasamsi jirnani yatha, as it is chodke. Navani grihnati, accepts. Navani, new garments, the man. Naraha aparani, tatha. The same way. Sharirani vihaya jirnani, the digested body, old body, aged. Chodke. Anyani samyati, enters. Navani, dehi. New body enters the Atma. And then, it's very clear when Yamadharmaraja tells Nachiketa in Valli 5, verse number 7. Valli means Vibhaga, chapter. Yonim manye prabadhyante sharira dvaya dehinah sthanum manye anusamyanti yata shruta yata karta. Yata shruta, I would say, shruta means in Sanskrit as you hear, not shruta as you hear, but as you hear, you build your thoughts, mental actions, and yata karta, the physical actions, the karma. So, yonim manye, it enters into the womb. Yonim manye prabadhyante, it manifests. Yonim, anya, another womb. Yonim manye prabadhyante sharira dvaya, through a sharira, dehinaha, the atma, or sthanumante, the fixed one, tree, rocks, fixed, not a womb. Sthanumanye anusamyanti, anusamyanti is enters. Yata shruta, yata karta, as per the thoughts and as per your karma, as per the thoughts you hear, as per the knowledge you hear, and as per the karma you do, it enters. Very clear. All the Vedas are very, very, very clear in that. And Krishna also says in 2:27, chapter 2 and verse 27, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuho. Okay, Jatasya, death is certain. Dhruvam janma mritasya. Of the dead, dhruvam certain is the birth. Tasmat, therefore, apariharye arte, apariharya arte. There is no, it's inevitable. There is no pariharam for this. In the meaning of this inevitability, apariharye arte, apariharye arte, na, tvam, you, soshitum, grieving, arihati. You don't deserve to grieve. Because for the birth, the death is certain, the death, the birth is certain. So as thou sow, thou shalt reap, Christ said. That's what in Bible they quote. They all quote from our Vedas only. So therefore, the concept is when the y is equal to 0, the state of unborn, and then you have this karma, the constant A, then you have all these karmas. The A reflects the previous birth's papa karma, the numbers, minus and could be plus, but the answer should be y must be 0. So you are born to do, if you know that you are born down, by the birth itself minus 100, you will get certain points when you do a little bit of charity. Instead of 100 rupees doing charity, even the fellow does 1 paisa charity because he's minus 100, the points reflected will be there 30 or 40, just like a prince doing a charity. So these numbers, this multiple linear regression, these multiple variables will get adjusted so that the straight line equations will have to be 0 for you to avoid punarjanma and punarmarana, the cycle of birth and death. You have to do good things. There is no escape. There is nothing called nobody can save you from any sins. You are responsible. As thou sow, thou shalt reap. That's all. You are responsible. The Hindu philosophy is the best philosophy in the world, and it is a leader, it is a mother of all religions, because you have the Paramatma. The Paramatma is a state of unborn, uncreated, unmanifested. It is impartial. It has no partiality. It cannot have a character. Mayaya vidyatehi. Only by Maya you can create the God you want. And through rules and science and through philosophy and through threats and through pointing out the dangers and all, you can create your legal system, your political system, your religious system. But the Paramatma is a state of unborn. To reach the Paramatma, so as to have not to come into the Maya birth of cycle and death, there is nothing else. You have to be responsible for your own actions. You are responsible for your actions. That's all. God is like your parents. They will say, don't smoke, don't drink, please. You will injure yourself. That's what the God Paramatma. He doesn't talk. He's a state of bliss, Ananda. So, without character, Nirgunaha Arupi. That's what Paramatma we define in the Vedas. That's later on, all these other Abrahamic religions took cue from that, and they said, okay, only God cannot have a figure, God cannot be an idol worshippers